Hello viewers and welcome to Wubbapalooza Games, hosted by me, Wubbapalooza. You can call me Wubbo for short, and my videos go over video games. Today we will be going into the World of Warcraft. Some of you may already know of the game and play it, which is great. In this video I plan to go through a bit of what the game is, how to create a character, and how to get started in the game. So here we go. To start off with, the World of Warcraft, WoW for short, is a huge multiplayer online role-playing game created by Blizzard Entertainment in 2004. If you are not into hardcore role-playing, then do not worry, because this game also has a lot of player versus player, PvP for short, action as well. There are two main factions, the Horde and the Alliance. These two factions are at each other's throats and are in a continuous war. The Horde consists of more monster-looking creatures, but don't let their appearance deceive you, and they are not equally bad. Most of them are outcasts and rejects from Azeroth trying to survive together. And now the Alliance has more human-looking members that came together to fight against the Horde. This game was made based on the previous Warcraft game series created by Blizzard. The original purpose was, as the name suggests, giving players the chance to explore the World of Warcraft. Blizzard had no idea that they struck gold because their tiny little spin-off game would become the beast it is today. WoW is still, despite 16 years passing, the #1 MMORPG, massive multiplayer online role-playing game on the market. The game is very different from the original state it was released in and has many expansions, adding new content to the game. It has had 7 expansions and 1 on the way. All are completely different, and the amount of content added to the game is massive and will entertain you for years and years to come. Every part of the world has something there. You will never find an empty space with nothing in it. You can access what the eye can see. 9 out of 10 times when you find a house, you can go into it and find some furniture and occasionally NPCs, non-playable characters. Now when playing the game, you need to pick which faction you want to start with. The Honorable Horde or the Valiant Alliance. This is the most important decision you can make in the game because it is more than just a colorful flag your character chooses to wear. This will decide what cities you can go to, what quests you can do, what armor types that you can use, as well as mounts, pets, and even toys. Basically, playing each faction is like playing a whole different game. This game completely revolves around your faction choice, and it is not to be taken lightly. The most important part when you choose a faction is it will decide what races you can play as, because in the current state of the game, there is only one race that is available to both factions. Everything else is locked to one faction. To give you an idea about which faction you will want to join on your first character, the Horde has orcs, undead, tauren, trolls, blood elves, and goblins, while the Alliance has humans, dwarves, night elves, gnomes, draenei, and worgen. Now to look at each race for a bit of depth to help you pick which one you will play as, you notice that each race has special abilities. These are mostly minor and few quirky things that make certain actions easier. Some people think you should make your choice entirely on these abilities alone. Personally, I don't think this is a good way because you will be spending a lot of time with this character, and you should like what you make. At the end of the day, these racial abilities are very minor in the grand scheme of the game. I am not biased at all, but we will start out with the Horde races first because it is my favorite faction. First, we have the Orcs. They were originally from another planet, then invaded this one while being the slaves of demons. Since then, they have broken free and are trying to find a new place in their new home. They are the original race that founded the Horde faction. The Orcs are very honored, obsessed, battle-loving, and despise the Warlocks due to their time as demonic slaves. Some still hold on to these dark traditions, though. Their racial abilities are Enrage to increase damage, to have resistance to stun attacks, and the damage done by their pets is increased. The class options are Warrior, Hunter, Mage, Rogue, Warlock, Shaman, and Monk. Next, we have the Undead. They were originally raised from the dead by the Lich King to become his evil army. A group of them managed to break free from his control, called the Forsaken. Their families and friends now see them as nothing but monsters, and they have found acceptance in the Horde. Their racial abilities are to remove charm, fear, and sleep effects, to consume corpses to regain health and mana, and they drain health from their enemies and show resistance to shadow damage. The class options are Warrior, Hunter, Mage, Rogue, Priest, Warlock, and Monk. The next race we have are the tauren. They are giant cow people who owe the Horde for saving them from extinction. They are based off the Native Americans and are nature-loving race. Their racial abilities are Stomp that stuns nearby enemies, increased stamina, herbalism skills are increased, resistance to nature damage, and increased effects from critical strikes. Their classes are Warrior, Hunter, Priest, Paladin, Druid, Shaman, and Monk. Then we have the Trolls. The Darkspear tribe of trolls were bullied by all other trolls, which were forced to leave their homeland. The island that they were staying on was attacked by sea witch, and the horde saved them. When the trolls speak, it is in a Jamaican accent. They practice voodoo and typically hate anyone who is not a troll. The troll's racial abilities are berserk increasing attack, casting speed, regeneration increased experience gained when killing beasts, and reduced duration of impairing effects. The classes are warrior, hunter, mage, rogue, priest, warlock, druid, shaman, and monk. Now we have the blood elves. They have a constant struggle with an addiction to magic, and most of their population was wiped out by the Lich King. They joined the Horde after being mistreated by the Alliance. The blood elves' racial abilities are enchanting skills increased, restored resources, dispel nearby enemies, and resistance to arcane magic. Their classes are warrior, hunter, mage, rogue, warlock, priest, paladin, and monk. Finally, the best race in the Horde, again, not being biased, is the goblins. These little monsters are obsessed with two things: money and explosives. Their entire society is ruled by a trade prince. Goblins who have the more money than anyone else, and they have a habit of blowing up anyone who tries to get the same amount of money as them. The trade prince rules over cartels, which all goblins under them are employees. The Bilgewater cartel joined the Horde after being saved from being shipwrecked on an island after Alliance sunk them. Their racial abilities are rocket jump forward, launch rockets at enemies, receive vendor discounts, summon a personal bank, haste increase, and alchemy skill increase. Their classes are warrior, hunter, mage, priest, rogue, shaman, and warlock. This concludes all of the races of the Horde. Moving on to the Alliance races. The first one is the human. This race may seem very familiar to you. In WoW, the humans from the Kingdom of Stormwind formed the Alliance to combat the Horde. Their racial abilities are reputation gained increased by 10%, and to remove all stun effects. Then you gain 2% more of all stats. The classes are warrior, hunter, mage, priest, rogue, warlock, and monk. Next is the dwarf. Having a long history of civil wars and mining deep in the earth, they have been a longtime friends of the humans. They joined the Alliance after the orcs attacked them. Their racial abilities are finding additional fragments from archaeology, reduce frost damage, critical strike bonus, and remove all poison and curses. Their classes are warrior, hunter, mage, priest, paladin, warlock, rogue, shaman, and monk. Then the night elves are nature lovers who worship a moon goddess. They joined the Alliance after the Horde cut down their trees and might have killed the Lord of the Forest. Their racial abilities are nature resistance, to transform into a wisp when they die, hide in the shadows, and increase haste. Their classes are warrior, hunter, mage, druid, priest, and rogue. Next in the Alliance faction is the gnome. They have always lived with the dwarfs and go wherever the dwarfs go. So when the dwarfs joined the Alliance, the gnomes came with them. They love science and technology. Their racial abilities are to break stuns, increase resources, a resistance to arcane damage, engineering skills increase, and to be able to attack faster. The classes are warrior, hunter, mage, warlock, priest, rogue, and monk. Another race in the Alliance is the Draenei. They are space goats who arrived on this planet running from demons and orcs. Clearly they did not get far enough. They joined the Alliance since they have been in a long war with the orcs already. Their racial abilities are jewel crafting increase, may self-heal, increase stats, and have a resistance to shadow damage. Their classes are warrior, hunter, paladin, shaman, priest, mage, and monk. Finally, the Worgen. The humans originally from the nation Gilneas. They isolated themselves from the entire world, which resulted in a werewolf curse being isolated to them. They joined the Alliance because the undead attacked them and the Night Elves saved them. Their racial abilities are they can move quickly, critical chance increase, resistance to nature damage, and skinning skill increase. Their classes are warrior, hunter, druid, rogue, warlock, mage, and priest. Now, you may have noticed that I did not mention the Pandaren, because they are the wildcards. The Pandaren are the only race that can join either faction, and you cannot change sides once you pick, so be careful when clicking. They are usually peaceful people, and the Alliance and Horde has equally helped them, so they decided to pick which one they want to go with. Their racial abilities are to knock out enemies, increase benefits from food, bouncy, and take less fall damage. Their classes are monk, shaman, priest, mage, rogue, warrior, and hunter. There are allied races, but currently they need special rules to unlock them, so in this video I will not speak on them. After you have picked your race, the next step is to pick your class that your race can play. There are 3 main roles for classes, which are tank, Healers and damage. Some classes can be multiple roles. A tank is the one taking the hits for the team, while the damage goes around killing everything. All while it's the healer's job to keep everybody alive. The type of classes are warrior, paladin, hunter, rogue, priest, shaman, mage, warlock, monk, and druid. There are 2 more classes, but those are for more experienced players and have special rules to get them, so I will mention them in a different video. Starting with the warrior class, which is one of the few classes that can be played by every race. This class is close range with fighting all up in the enemy's face. In this class, you use big boy weapons like axes, swords, and maces, and this class can be the roles of tank or damage. The next is the other class that all races can be, the hunter. This class can be far range or close range fighting, but you get a nice companion to help you on your way. In this class, you use bows, guns, and polearms, and this is a damage class only. The paladin class is your holy knights, protecting justice. This class is close range fighting with some healing abilities. They use hammers, shields, and maces. You can play all 3 roles, giving you quite a bit of versatility. Have you ever wanted to be the main character in the Dark Knight series? Then the rogue class is just for you. This class is close range that gives you a lot of stun abilities and sneaking, so you can hit your enemy before they hit you. You will use swords and daggers. This is a damage-only class. There's a rumor going around that a priest can also be a damage dealer, but everyone knows that a priest are only good for healing. The priest calls upon the light to heal and use shadow magic from the void to cause harm. The weapons to use are staffs and tomes. The priest is only a far-range fighter. This class is for healing and damage. The next class is the shaman. They call upon the spirits of earth, water, fire, air, and as well as placing totems. The weapons are maces, hammers, and shields. The shaman can either be close range or a far range fighter. This class is damage and healing. The mage uses the power of the arcane magic to cast powerful spells. They also use fire and ice magic, but the arcane does more damage. The weapons are staffs and daggers. This class is only a far range fighter. The mage is a damage-dealing class that is a great use for other players because they can make portals and make mana buttons. The warlock is a summoner of demons and hellfire. They cast evil curses and summon a demon's pet. The weapons used is staffs and daggers. The warlock is a far-range fighter, only used for damage roll. The monk is a kung fu fighter that uses chi and balance to fight in close-range combat that can use the mist to heal. The weapons used are fist weapons and staffs. The monks can be all 3 role types. The last class is the druid. They are the protector of nature that calls upon the spells of the forest that can assume the form of animals. This class uses staffs and the power to shapeshift into animals to fight or heal. The druid can fight far range with spells or close range with animal forms. This is a class that can be used for all 3 roles. Finally, now that you have your character made, you are ready to enter the world. Once you enter the world, you automatically get a certain cutscene based on the race you have picked, and it gives a bit of backstory for that race. After the cutscene, you should see your character in the game. On the bottom right, you will see some tiny icons, and each one is important to play the game. The first icon is your character info. This lets you know what armor your character is wearing. You can also check your reputation with certain factions and any special currency you can carry. And the last thing you can do with this page is to add a title once you have earned them to your name. Next, you have your spellbook and abilities icon. Here you will find any spells and abilities that your character has and see your professions. Then there is an icon that is the specialization and talent icon. This will be more important once you reach level 10 because your class will have several specializations. You can only pick one, but it can be changed at any time. You will also have the Talents tab, which every 15 levels lets you pick from 3 different talents, allowing you to create a unique playstyle for your character. After that one, there is the achievement icon, which opens the achievement window. It is here that you can track your achievements and see what needs to be done to acquire different achievements. Some achievement awards are unique, like mounts and pets. Then you will notice the quest log icon. In this tab, you will find any active quest you're on, also a convenient map of the world to help you locate the quest. The guild tab comes next, and with this tab, it shows you everything about your current guild. Next, you have the group finder. It is with this tool you will be able to enter dungeons and PvP once you hit level 15. And next to that is your mounts and collections. It's within here you will find your mounts, pets, toys, heirlooms, and appearances. Next to that one is the adventure guide. Within the adventure guide you will find information on every dungeon and raid in the game, telling you about what bosses and loot they have. After that one is the WoW shop. In here you can buy several things for real life money. The final important icon is the game menu. This allows you to change the settings and how to log out of the game. Now on top of those icons is your bags. The bag is the storage for any item you pick up in the game. At the start you only have one, but you can collect more as you go. But you can only have 5. The first thing you should see is a non-playable character, NPC, with a yellow exclamation point above them, which means they have a quest for you to do. You should walk over to them and click on them to show you your quest they want to give you. The next you should see is a small window appear with details about your quest, which I recommend reading. Don't worry if you don't know the location of where you're going, because in the top right of your screen will be a mini map that will show you where to go, and if you click on it, the map will become larger. Follow the location, and there you will find whatever the quest wants you to do. Typically the quest will be to hunt mobs, collect items, or bring things to other NPCs. You will then return to the NPC once the action is done, and they should have a yellow question mark above their head. Click back on them and turn in the quest to get your experience and other loot, and most NPCs will have another quest after you do that, and you just follow along. Eventually you will complete the starting zone and be ready to move on to the other zones that you get to pick. The World of Warcraft is a vast place to explore, and it spans several planets with over thousands of places to explore. And now you have taken your first steps in this world. Go out and create your own adventure. Leave a comment below if you like this video, and have happy travels.